So let's go then back to find by date. We're in Shift Editor. And let's go through what it might be like for an administrator to go ahead and create some shifts. Notice that there are several function buttons here: filters, shifts, size. This is refresh or reload, and that's a PDF creator, a calendar PDF creator, and add shift. So that's what I'm going to work on now. I'll talk about the functionality of these buttons because they affect largely what happens in the window here. So when you have a lot of shifts, this could be completely full, and this will help us to separate those shifts into a little bit more meaningful chunks. But first of all, let's go ahead and create a shift and see what that looks like. So now in the Shift Editor pane on the right-hand side, we have Edit Shift here. We have Hide Details, Delete, Copy, Save, Set Recurrence. Talk about those in a minute. The first category you can see is keywords, and what that means is what we're able to do is we're able to tag shifts with names that we can use to sort later. So say, for instance, there was someone in your organization that was doing shifts, and that person's name was George, and you may choose to have all of the shifts that are created by George all grouped together. And the advantage to that, now let me type G, and the advantage to that is we would be able to sort out by program or by name, in this case, George, and we would be able to see all of those shifts at one time. And then that would affect anything that we did in terms of printing a calendar with just those shifts on it. So the advantage to setting a keyword is that it will help us sort later, and it's completely up to you. You could set it by program, you could set it by location. It's completely up to your organization. Now let's just go ahead and call this a PSW shift. Of course, you can call it as detailed as you want. In fact, the more detailed, the better. The advantage is that this is what the workers see. So the more information that is included in there, then that'll make it easier for your workers to be able to accept the shifts. So the start time and end time are pre-populated based on the date in the find by date search field. So when you change this date, then the start date will also change. But let's go ahead and set something in the future. So let's say we want something to start on March the 2nd. Let's change that to 1 p.m. Now, as soon as we move to the end date, we don't actually need to set the time. If we just automatically immediately change the time here, then the date will automatically be populated on the same day. So let's say we have a 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. shift. So now we've set the date and time, and then we can set any instructions that we would like for our workers to see. And if one of them should be how to type correctly. So we could put instructions here, and let's go ahead and save that. Now, notice that it has shrunken so that we're not able to see all of the information, and that's where the Show Details tag is. So we can click on this button and see the information that we just saw. But what we found is a lot of our clients are using small notebooks, and so this can be a lot of information to try to fit on a page at one time. So it's just a toggle. You can hide the details to see the minimum information, or you can toggle again to see the entire information that we use to edit as well. Now let's go a little bit further along. Delete would allow us to delete this shift. Copy would allow us to create an identical copy of a shift, including if we were to have rosters on. And of course, save we need to do quite regularly in order to be able to make sure we have all the information that we need without having to redo it. So let's move on to Glossary. As I mentioned before, and we were talking about shift group, Glossary is information that we would like to include on a lot of shifts, but we don't want to have to keep typing it in. So this is very similar to the way that we tag a person. What we're doing was actually tagging some information that the workers will be able to have with them because it's connected to the shift. So let's say we have we would be able to put, in this particular case, maybe contact information, where we could have someone's phone number, and we could have that list available to the workers. They wouldn't, that would be something they might need on the job. In the event they had to call us, they would be able to pull this information up on the shift. Now notice it's called contact info. So we save that, could be quite a detailed document. And all we need to do here is click on see and add contact information. So that's added to the instructions. So when this shift goes out, that information will automatically be added and the volunteers will be able to, or sorry, the workers will be able to see that. So let's go down and talk a little bit about minimums. So the minimum people we need for the shift might be 1, but it might be a shift where we can accept as many as 2. And notice that it's a green thumbs up. That's because there was a minimum 0, which means the shift was satisfied. But if we set the shift that we need at least 1 person, notice that it's now a red thumbs down, which means the shift is incomplete or not satisfied. And the advantage for administrators is when we see a red thumbs down, we know that should merits our attention. But when we see a green thumbs up, we know that those shifts are satisfied and ready to go. So I think I'll stop there with this video. We've gone to minimum people, maximum people, and let's go ahead and save that. And then we'll move on to the next video.